Hi, this is Blackburn Broadcasting, and today we're going to be doing a 1963 Year in Review special broadcast. The topics include international affairs, sports, weather, and also a special topic on politics. First, over to Nic Speroni with the international affairs.
1963 was an odd year for the United States. The USA deployed troops into Vietnam to counter communism to stop the domino effect in Southeast Asia. The Viet Cong got their first major victory in the battle.
Hey, yeah, the Viet Cong. Isn't the map over there? So, hey, cameraman, let's move to the map.
Alrighty
As
then.
we talk about the international affairs in the international map.
As you can see, America wanted to stop the domino effect right around here, near Vietnam. A couple months later, General Hawkins predicted that if the Viet Cong had a constant resupply, they could win the war. But that prediction soon derailed. By April, the U.S. government started to believe that the Viet Cong can be controlled, and that greater U.S. control of South Vietnam will lead to their safety. Many Americans didn't like the USA's involvement in Vietnam. Kennedy's response to this was, quote unquote, "We are not going to withdraw. For us, America, to withdraw would mean a collapse not only in South Vietnam, but all of Southeast Asia, so we're going to stay there." In October of 1963, Kennedy decided to withdraw 1,000 troops from Vietnam. But the public was not made aware. The Viet Cong had another victory in November at the Battle of Hia Pho. Hia Pho was the first U.S. Special Forces base captured by the Viet Cong. Later that month, the Vietnamese were set for a surprise when it was rumored that the CIA assassinated their Prime Minister, Ngo Dinh Diem. But CIA involvement is still questionable to this day. Throughout the whole year, only 122 Americans were killed in Vietnam out of the 16,300 that were stationed.
It's a very controversial manner, and this is the map of Vietnam right here. Right here. North Vietnam, South Vietnam.
There we go.
It's a great schism. There we go. And the United States is over there, and they fly their planes from the Western Hemisphere all the way to Vietnam, Southeast Asia.
Go.
Hello, my name is John Liu, your weatherman and your inside broadcaster on the JFK assassination. And also, I'll also provide a lot of interesting facts and events that happened around 1963. First, let's talk about the weather of the year 1963. Our very own Dr. J. Murray Mitchell he showed as early as 1963 a multi-decadal cooling since about 1940 has happened. There are concerns by Harry Wexler that setting off atom bombs could be hastening a new ice age from a nuclear winter scenario. Alas, many scientists predict by 2022 that the world will enter a new ice age. We must stop driving cars, building nuclear factories, and cutting down on the use of snow cones. Let's hit up the booth with my fellow co-workers and anchors. Did you know that zip codes were first introduced in the year 1963? It was introduced on July 1st. Let's talk about my very own JFK assassination special on the assassination on John F. Kennedy. It was a very sad day that happened in Dallas, Texas. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, our very own 35th President of the United States, was assassinated at 12:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday, November 22nd, 1963. Kennedy was fatally shot by a sniper while traveling with his daughter, his wife, and Texas Governor John Connally in a presidential motorcade. Kennedy's death marked the fourth successful assassination of an American president and elevated Lyndon B. Johnson to the highest office. Hours after his assassination, the whole American nation was divided and in a panic mode. An event captured in an iconic photograph showed many grieving Americans holding a blessing over JFK. The assassination evoked stunned reactions worldwide. Before the president's death was announced, the first hour after the shooting was a great time of confusion. Taking place during the Cold War, people thought it was from the Cold War, like Russia, who was behind the attacks. They also blamed Lyndon B. Johnson for the attacks as well, because they thought he wanted to propel himself to the POTUS. The news shocked the nation. People wept openly and gathered in department stores to watch the TV coverage, while others prayed for JFK and his family. Traffic in some areas came to a halt as news spread from car to car. Schools across the U.S. dismissed their students early because of the shocking news, and anger against Texas and Texans was reported from some individuals. Various Cleveland Browns fans, for example, carried signs at the next Sunday's home football game against the Dallas Cowboys, decrying the city of Dallas as having killed the president.
Go.
Now on to sports and politics. First, we have some important sports events. The Pro Football Hall of Fame opens in Canton, Ohio with 17 charter members. In the World Series, the LA Dodgers defeated the New York Yankees 4-0 in the series. The NBA Championship, Boston defeated the LA Lakers 4-2 in the series. The NFL Championship, Chicago defeated the Giants 14-10 in the Super Bowl. In the Stanley Cup, Toronto defeated Detroit 4-1. The Kentucky Derby champion was Chattagee. And the NCAA Basketball Championship, Loyola, Illinois defeated Cincinnati 6-5-58 in overtime. Now over to the politics. Some people forgot the impacts of the 1963 made on the Cold War. Back in June, the USSR and the USA set up a hotline known as the Red Telephone in the White House. Later in August, a treaty was signed by the USSR, USA, and the UK that prohibited nuclear missile testing. The USA also flew 14,500 soldiers to Germany to reinforce NATO and the Operation Big Lift. Now over to the Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King Jr. was the main civil rights activist for desegregation at this time. His main speech, we know him as, is the I Have a Dream speech held in Washington, D.C. Also, Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested in Birmingham, Alabama in one of his Civil Rights Act movements. Those are the major political and sports events that happened in 1963.
Might I add that the arrest in Birmingham also was a turning point in the desegregation of 1963. It helped many people in America realize that segregation is not morally right, or is it religiously right.
Many people after that event turned over to the side of supporting desegregation and ending racial tensions. Thank you and good day.
Do you end it?
Nope.
Did you know that the Alcatraz Penitentiary Island in San Francisco was closed this year? Did you also know that the CIA Divisions of Operations were created this year?
Thank you for watching Blackburn Broadcasting News by John, Nick, and Taylor. Have a great day.